Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k battle report with me, Xenovids. Now this battle report is between Tau and Space Marines. It's a 2000 point battle, it's Purge the Alien, and let's see how the Space Marines fare against the Tau. For this game, the mission will be Purge the Alien, and the deployment will be Hammer and Anvil. So here we have the board set up with the terrain today. Quite a bit of terrain, but not a lot of line-breaking terrain. No buildings or anything like that. There'll be a lot of cover saves throughout this game, I predict. There's a good hill there. Should be good for some long shooting. And a hill completely opposite it. So we rolled off and the Space Marines get to go first. So this Space Marine deployment is 10 Assault Marines, 5 Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators, 3 or 4 units of Tactical Marines, a Commander with one of the Tactical Marines, and a Librarian with the Terminators. And in reserve is 2 Storm Talon gunships and 2 Dreadnoughts in drop pods, one with a Plasma Cannon and one with a Las Cannon. So his deployment is all bunched together. Tau deployment. Here's a Tau deployment. The commander on the right, a unit of 12 Fire Warriors, a Riptide, Hammerhead with another 12 Fire Warriors in front, 12 more Fire Warriors with an Aegis Defense Line and Quad Cannon, 12 Fire Warriors behind them, 3 Broadsides with Melters and a Hammerhead. In reserve will be 2 Barracudas and a group of Crisis Suit with Flamers and Missile Pods. And I've spread the army out so I can get a wide array of shooting, as I will be the Tau today against my opponent being Space Marines. Is it night fighting? On a 5, it is. So looking at the Warlord traits then, I rolled on the Tau table and I got through Boldness is Victory, which means my Warlord, deep striking is fine, but I'm not deep striking. And my opponent got his Warlord as a scoring unit, but it's kill points. Space Marine rolled on the Biomancy and got Iron Arm, which makes his Librarian Eternal Warrior and plus D3 to Strength and Toughness. And also got Life Leech, which is Assault 2, Strength 6, AP2, Shot. And I steal the initiative in the first turn, so straight away to the Tau movement phase. So, moving the Hammerhead so that they get an extra Jinx save. They do have Disruption Pods, giving them a +1 to their Jinx, so they have a 4-up cover save now. I don't really want to move a lot of the army, because they're quite well situated behind cover. So I'm just moving up the Fire Warriors a little bit more to come into range, even though it is night fighting. The great thing about some Tau units, the Riptide, the Commander, and all Crisis Suits have Black Sun filters, meaning they ignore night fight. So moving on to the shooting phase, the first unit is firing at the Assault Marines. The Shajal Commander person in that unit is firing a Marker Light, and he gets it. And the rest of the unit is firing their Pulse Rifles, which is 30-inch, Strength 5, AP5 shot. One of the best infantry rifles in the game, in my opinion. But failed to do anything in that round of shooting. So I'm using the Marker Light on this unit to increase their ballistic skill. So now they're ballistic skill 3. 4 even. So needing 3s to hit. Needing 3s to wound in this phase. And quite a few have wounded. And now he has a 3-up armor save for his Assault Marines. And he fails 3. Now the Riptide is firing his weapon at them. He's going to overheat his weapon and gets hot. So he's lost a wound. Already. So the Hammerhead is going to fire at the Assault Marines. Really pushing for the first blood kill there. It scatters a couple of inches. So rolling to wound. And all 4. And he fails 2 of them. The second hammerhead is doing a single shot at his Thunderhammer Storm Shield, hoping to take one of them down for fun. And he hits, and he rolls to wound, and he wounds. But he makes his invulnerable save. The quad gun and a couple of the fire warriors that can see the unit is firing. No, just the quad gun for now, firing at that unit of assault marines. Twin linked, so needing 4s to hit and then 2s to wound. And again, having a free up armor save. And he fails one of them. So, taking down most of the assault marines in turn 1. So moving to the Space Marine turn 1 movement phase, his drop pod with one of the dreadnoughts comes in straight away due to drop pod assault special rule, and it's the dreadnought with the las cannon. So he's moving up the assault marines, and everything else is mostly staying put. The Terminators are moving up with the librarian, and so is the HQ, the commander, who he's detached from the tactical marines. Just keeping them back behind the cover and edging them closer to the cover. So the assault marines are hoping to bound and leap towards the tower and take down the fire warriors. So taking on the shooting phase. The dreadnought firing at the back of the hammerhead, firing his stormbolter and las cannons. Two go through, including the las cannon, and I'm rolling the cover saves, needing a 4 up, and I make them. Now the drop pod is firing at the back of the hammerhead with its storm bolter, and nothing. So moving over to the tower, turn 2, seeing what can come in. 2 Barracudas and Crisis Suit team, and 1 Barracuda comes in, and the Crisis Suit. So seeing if they get in between those 2 units of Space Marines, and they do. This unit of Crisis team has flamers and missile pods. So the fire came on. I moved the commander up slightly. The hammerhead moved a little bit. The Crisis team moved over to the dreadnought, and the hammerhead moved up, as did the fire warriors. They came in from reserve. And that's how the board looks at. Now going into Tau, turn 2, shooting. The commander is firing at the assault marines, hoping to whittle them down for first blood. So with a plasma rifle and cyclic ion blaster, getting a good number of hits. So rolling some armor saves, and he fails one of them. Passed the saves but failed the plasma. So the fire warriors are now firing at the assault squad, again trying to get that first kill point and first blood point. A good number of wounds there, and he fails 3 of them, so that assault squad is gone. First blood to the tower. Riptide, hoping to do something this turn, fails with 2 of his shots and makes it with his last one. And does he kill him? No. The fire warrior is hoping to whittle down some more Terminators. Four wounds, and he made every single one of them. So the hammerhead now is firing its blast template at the Terminators, and it's a direct hit, so a good number of Terminators under the blast. Rolling to wound, all of them wound, so 3 armor saves for the Terminators, and he makes every single one. So now the Barracuda firing at the Terminators. Not all of the weapons were in range, but the Forge-World Barracuda is full of weapons. Cyclic Ion Blaster, missile pods and burst cannons. It is devastating. For its points value, it's pretty good. But in this case, all the Terminators pass their armor save. Everything else, Fire Warrior wise, that I can see, and Quad Cannon firing at the Terminators. And this is a prime example of what Terminators are good at. They're good at soaking up wounds, especially Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators, having a 2-up armor save and a 3-up invulnerable. And after most of the Tower Army firing at them, only one of them went down. So now the Crisis team are firing their flame templates, the flamers and their missile pods, seeing how much damage they can do to that one lonely tactical unit. Hoping if I can take enough down and it fails a leadership test, he can fall back off the board and get me another victory point immediately. However, he makes every single save. So that Crisis team is out in the open really, which is bad. So firing a marker like the Dreadnought, I fail, but now firing the missile pods and melter weapons against the Dreadnought. So roll into pen, and I achieve many pens and end up destroying this Dreadnought completely. And he explodes. So this Hammerhead is firing its blast template at this unit of Space Marines, trying to weaken the back line so that not as many Space Marines can fire at the Crisis suits. However, it does scatter onto the Terminators. 4 inches onto them, which cover 3 of them, including the Librarian. And he makes both the armor saves, so they're fine. So now going over to the Space Marine turn 2 movement. The second drop pod comes in from reserve. And everything else that he wants to assault moves up. So the Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators move up with the Librarian, as does the commander of this Space Marine army. With all the movement done, we'll move on to the shooting phase. And he runs the Thunderhammer Storm Shield 6 inches. And he uses the commander's Orbital Bombardment. It's a Strength 10 AP 1 ordnance, but it has to scatter the full distance, even if it's a hit. Now we joked that we'd only kill one of them, and it hits one. Now rolling to wound. He wounds, so one dies. So the plasma cannon from the Dreadnought onto this Fire Warrior unit gets 5 of them. So this will take a huge chunk out of that unit if he manages to roll anything but 1s. He's firing the Storm Bolter as well. He gets a few 1s. So 2 are dead, and there were 2 armor saves. And a few die. 4. And the Storm Bolters at the Crisis suits. All but 1 miss. It wounds. Roll an armor save and passed. So rolling the leadership test and I fail, so they will be falling back. It's very tricky because they're near the edge, but I roll a 3, so for this round, they're okay. But they are still falling back. So this unit of Space Marines are checking if they're in range of the Crisis suits and firing their bolters. So I have a few armor saves to make, and I fail a couple, So one unit goes down and they're equidistant, so we rolled to see which one goes, and it is the one with the shield generator. So I have a few more armor saves to make. I made them on a free up. So this unit now firing at the 2 crisis suits. And I fail one of them, so there is a wound. Time for Tau, turn 3 movement. Does the second Barracuda coming? No, it doesn't. So that goes back. And the Barracuda that's on the battlefield turns and moves towards the Terminators, because they're getting very close to the Tau gun line. Everything else I move to get a better position to shoot. And I check for their leadership test, needing a 7, and I fail again. So they will be falling back. So I move the crisis team over to that, so that they see the Dreadnought's back armor, which is only 10, and with their melters should take it down quite easily. So here's the board at the end of the movement phase. Still quite a lot of Tau models left on the board. So moving on to the Tau turn 3 shooting. The Crisis team firing its flamers at the Space Marines in front of them, hoping to get a good number this time. Rolling a lot of hits with missile pods and to wounds with the flamers now. And 3 go down this time. And 2 more as well. 5 go down in that shooting, which is great for the Crisis team. The Barracuda firing at the Terminators, with many different guns on show now. So now rolling these saves for the Terminators. Any roll of a 1 and it's dead. 1 is down. Excellent. Whittling them down 1 at a time. So a Fire Warrior is firing at the closest Terminator now. Needing 4s here. And then freeze. And again, taking down some of the Terminators. And now he's rolling for his Librarian. Now, continuing the shooting, bombardment of the Tau Fire Warriors. This time not as many shots. Then 2 wounds go through. And he fails 1. Another Terminator down. So the Thunderhammers are slowly being whittled down. And they are a close combat unit. And they haven't had a chance to go into close combat with anything. So a lot of points wasted in that unit. However, a lot of firepower has gone into that unit over the last 3 turns. So they are a bit of a sponge unit. Now the Melter Crisis team shooting at the Dreadnought with their missile podded melters. Let's say glance with the missile pods, and now rolling the melters. because they're within half distance, they get to roll 2d6 for strength. And +1 to that result means it blows up. And how many inches does it blow up? 1. So it ends up getting 2 of the Fire Warriors. And 1 wounds. And roll an armor save. Make it on a 4-up. So now the large blast terminate from the hammerhead onto that unit of Space Marines at the back. Direct hit, which is great. And rolling to wound. And he made all the armor saves in that one. So now firing a single shot at that thing. And I roll a 6. Can I take it down? Not with a roll of a 1. So now the Riptide, trying to earn its points back by shooting the Librarian. Can he take it down with his amazing weapon? Needing 4s. And then needing 2s. No. In every game, the Riptide hasn't really won its points back. I don't know whether we're not using it effectively, but if you use a Riptide and it's working out for you, please leave a comment below and what tactics you would give for a Riptide model. Space Marines, turn 3 movement. The first Storm Talon comes on, everything else moves back a little bit towards Crisis. The quad gun has a special rule interceptor, meaning it can fire at anything that comes in from reserve. And because it has Skyfire, as I'm told by my opponent, I could fire its strength 7 shot. So 2 go through. 1 is a glance and 1 is a pen. So I'm just waiting to see if my opponent rolls a Jinx save for his Storm Talon. He doesn't. I roll a 6, which isn't explode. So that goes down. So moving on to the shooting phase. More shots fired at the Crisis team. And more armor saves made. So firing at the Crisis team in his deployment zone. And rolling some armor saves, and 1 goes down. Now the last of the tactical squad firing at the last Crisis suit. I fail 1 of the wounds, so he's now down to 1 wound. So turn 3 assault phase for the Space Marines. Trying to assault the Fire Warriors, and the Tower have a special rule that if certain models were within 6 inches of a unit being assaulted, they get to overwatch at the assaulting unit. So that is the Fire Warriors unit being assaulted, the Fire Warriors unit next to it, the Riptide, and the Commander firing at that one. So when assaulting Tau, it's important to remember this, because it can get very, very messy. Now the Librarian is taking a lot of shots from the Fire Warriors, but can he survive that much firepower? So far so good. Now the Riptide. These are overwatch shots, so they are needing 6s to hit. And fails. So turn 4 movement. I've moved the Barracuda up. The Crisis Flamer has moved up. The Hammerhead has moved up to get a better view. The Commander has moved backwards. And everything else has kind of stayed still, except for the Hammerhead moved to get a Jinx save. This Fire Warrior unit has continued to fall back. Tau turn 4 shooting. So firing at the Space Marine tactical squad, hopefully trying to get the Space Marines that are all up in his face. So only a couple of wounds, and he makes the armor save. So now firing single shot again. Can I hit him? No. Roll a 1 again. Not doing well with the single shots with the Hammerhead this time round. So now rolling the Crisis team with the Melters, who've been very effective this game. Killing 2 Dreadnoughts and now looking to take down one of the drop pods. And looks like it was successful. The quad gun firing at the other drop pod. Needing 4s, reroll, and then needing 5s to glance, I do believe. And I get a glance. So the Riptide, firing at the Commander, the Space Marines Commander, fails every single shot. And the reroll. Great going, Riptide. And the Fire Warrior is firing at the Commander. He's within rapid fire range, so you can double the shots with their weapons. That's 24 shots. Strength 5, AP 5. Can they take him down? Surely he cannot survive that amount of firepower. So rolling the armor saves, and he fails one of them. So he has 2 wounds left. So the Fire Warrior squad above is firing at him as well. Getting a few more wounds. Rolling his armor saves, and he fails 2 of them. So he goes down into the giant dead pile of Space Marines. So the hammerhead firing is large blast onto this unit, would get every single one except for 1 maybe, but it scatters a full 6 inches away and misses. So using its burst cannons now to fire at the unit. Getting a good number of wounds. Rolling the armor saves, and he manages to fail one of them. So the final Barracuda, shooting at the tactical squads in front of it. Tactical squad in front of him, with many guns. Ranging from strength 7 AP4 to AP3 shots to strength 5. There's a lot of different dice to roll, and a lot of Space Marines died. The second Barracuda firing at the tactical squad, hoping to whistle down a few more. Looking good to take down some of them. And he fails one of them. So 1 goes down. Now Space Marines turn 4. Their movement phase, he's moved everything back towards that Crisis suit, and his second Storm Talon has come onto the field. But I get to use the Interceptor rule again to try and take down that gunship. So firing, meaning 4s. Reroll. Only 3 hit this time. And have 1 glance and 1 pen. And what he rolls is 2 6s. So he's absolutely fine. Problem with Jinx save on a flyer, it means it has to snap fire in its next round. But it is still alive. So now firing at the last Crisis squad member, just working out the wounds and how many hits, and how many armor saves I need to make. And I failed 2 armor saves, so he goes down. Off he flies over to the Tau dead pile. Now the last Space Marine squad shooting at the Barracuda nearest to them. 1 pen is rolled, and I don't jinx, so I let it go through to take 1 whole point. So now the Storm Talon is firing at the Barracuda, and he misses because he's only snap firing. The Stormbolt from that fires at the Crisis suit and misses. It's Tau turn 5 movement, trying to mop up as many Space Marines as we can. The Fire Warriors that were falling back for the last 3 turns failed to to do anything but fall back off the table. So the Crisis Suit's trying to take down this drop pod once and for all, getting 4 of the total victory points for me. They managed to do it, it doesn't explode, and with that, the Space Marine player concedes. It's a Tau victory, 11-2. So there we have it then, a Tau victory. A bit of a landslide, really, being 11-2. What was great about the Tau? Strong shooting, except for the Riptide. I found the Riptide underachieved in this game completely. The Melter Crisis team protected all the Tau Fire Warriors at the back of the line, and I felt that the Space Marine army was against lacked long distance shooting, really, which the Tau exploited. Really great game for the Tau. So if you think you could have done anything different, or any tactics for Space Marines or Tau, please comment below, and I hope to see you on the next video.